Hi. Today I decided to talk about money, how to raise it and how to save it. We're gonna use an example. Maybe just imagine that you're planning for something big. You have a big goal in mind. Like maybe you're part of a singing group that might be taking a trip to Europe in the spring, and you need to raise some money for that. I don't know where that example came from. That just kind of popped out of my head. But yeah, right. But today I want to try to give you some tips, not only how to raise money, hopefully in a fairly quick way. I'm not talking over several years. I'm talking over several months. And also how to save money, particularly for people like us who are in college and are poor, have no money, and have no time. So I'm just going to go down a little brief list, and we'll see what you think. And hopefully maybe one or two of these tips will come useful to you. So the first one is different online resources for funding. There are a lot of sites. One I can think in particular is called GoFundMe.com, just 3 words, GoFundMe. And sites like that are kind of like communities where you post a need that you have. Sometimes on that site, especially, they focus on medical bills, or if you have to pay for like a certain occasion coming up, like a wedding or something. People will create their own account and just open it up basically to the world, to anyone who sees that website and is interested in funding them. So you set up an account, and usually sites like that you need PayPal, so that way you don't have to give out any sort of personal information. It goes to PayPal and not directly to your bank account or credit card or something. And just people anywhere can check out that website, see what your need is, and maybe if they feel generous, maybe help you out. So that's one thing you might want to investigate. Next thing is basically market your talents. If you're a good writer, if you're a good artist, maybe you think you could make a good model. I don't know, if you're quite attractive or something. Think about that. Think about marketing your talents. Maybe you're excellent at mowing lawns. Anything that you can do that might be a little bit unique or a little bit different than what other people can do is something you definitely should market. So find out what people need and what you can offer them, so maybe you can make some money that way. Next is a thing that's kind of, it's definitely a time-consuming thing, but there are a lot of websites that offer some sort of compensation if you take surveys. You have to search for it on Google, like online surveys, and really make sure you investigate before you pursue anything. But a lot of companies, they want feedback from consumers, basically. So you just answer like a survey about, like, a product or your views on some sort of issue, maybe political, ideological, or something. And basically the way it works is each survey you get a certain number of points, and then over time they'll pay you, like, send you a check for $20 or something. So that's something to investigate. Next is selling stuff. That could be putting clothes on consignment, could be maybe a pawn shop, could even be eBay or Amazon or something like that. Something that you have, maybe like, oh, I have that futon, in the corner of my house, and I really haven't had any use for it in quite a while. Maybe think of, like, what do I really need and what do I want to part with, is something that's really important to think about in a case like that. Next thing I can think of is there are a lot of different grants and scholarships out there. You have to look for them, and some are more worthwhile than others. If you have a certain goal in mind, that's usually better. If you're raising money for a certain cause, or you fit a certain criteria, like a certain major or a certain age, or there's a lot of different criteria depending on the foundation. But definitely go online, search for different scholarships, opportunities maybe that you can apply for stuff. But of course, it doesn't come without a risk, without a cost. You're going to have to probably write a proposal. You're going to have to meet certain things. And there's a possibility you're not going to get it. There are probably a lot of people applying for the same thing. So just because you do apply doesn't mean you're automatically insured that you're going to get it. Next thing is different sweepstakes. I mean, it's not a guarantee, just like that last one. It's definitely not a guarantee. But companies like Publishers Clearinghouse, you enter the sweepstakes, and there's a possibility you might win. Something like that, make sure that you only enter ones that are free. If you're required to buy something, or if you're required to pay money to enter it, then it's not worth it. You're just losing money. So something like scratch tickets at a lottery, really small chances you're going to win. Most likely over the long run, you're going to be losing money. So that's definitely something I would recommend. Do not do a lottery or gamble or something to try to raise money, because you're going to end up losing in the long run. So now we're on to saving money. One thing I can think of is if you have a long-term goal, like a trip to Europe, that's several months in the future, one way I would recommend saving up money is set aside a certain amount of money and open a certificate of deposit with a bank, otherwise known as a CD. And basically the way that works is it's going to be a higher interest rate than a savings account. you'll get more money accumulated over time. But you have to leave that money in for a certain amount of time, like a 3-month, 6-month CD. So say if you open a 6-month CD and you try to get the money back in 5 months, there's probably going to be a penalty and you probably will end up not getting any interest out. Whereas a savings account, you can take and add money as much as you want, but it's going to be a smaller interest rate. So if you can plan long term, see far advanced in the future, and know that you can set aside X number of dollars for the future, that's something you want to check into, maybe a CD, and go online through Google, find out different CD rates, and find out which bank's going to give you the best rate for depending on how long you want to have the CD in place. Next thing I can think of is to save money is have a good coupon strategy. A lot of times what happens is the manufacturers put out coupons, and they're good for about a month. And the best way to use that to your advantage is to check the ads in the stores, like stuff you buy a lot, like milk and bread and stuff. Make sure that you check the store ads, because if you can use that coupon from the manufacturer at the same time the store has a sale, you're a lot more likely to save more money that way. Kind of coordinate so you know exactly when to use it instead of using it right away and then finding out the next week there's a sale. Another thing too is sort of like coupons, but there are a lot of websites online for discount gift cards to different stores. Sometimes if you're lucky, you can even find gas. So I mean, you're paying, say like you're paying $30 up front, but maybe you're getting like a $40 gift card, so you're actually paying less money or saving money over time. But for stuff like that, just make sure, really investigate the site first. Make sure it's a legitimate thing. It's not just a scam. It's very important just for your own safety. And last thing, I guess, saving money is basically just limit spending. I know this is kind of like kindergarten lesson, but I mean, basically just if there's something you want, just think to yourself, do I really need this, or would I rather go to Europe? I mean, it's sort of like a choice like that. Because remember, like every dollar you save every day is one more dollar you have for your financial goal in the future. And I guess the final disclaimer is basically, I guess, a life lesson that if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I think a lot of people learn that when they're younger, but sometimes maybe we haven't learned it yet. But yeah, usually if it's like, oh man, I got this email from an African princess and she's going to give me $1 million if I give her my social security number, don't respond to those. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but still. Just make sure you really investigate everything first. Really look into it. Do some research on your own, or even ask someone you maybe think that has more financial know-how than you do. So I wish you guys luck in your personal fundraising, and remember to participate in all our group fundraisers, and we'll make it as a group. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.